Well, getting into women's basketball now, Middle Tennessee's got a 5-game win streak going right now, probably the hottest team in Conference USA. What has impressed you the most about the Blue Raiders so far?
Well, I finally got to see them in person against UTEP this past week, and they are very impressive. You look at Rick Insell and what he has done as the head coach, their winningest coach in their history. He comes in this season losing a lot of great players, but he's reloaded. But I want to talk about Olivia Jones. This young lady plays 100% all the time. Freshman of the year in the conference last season. She's diving for loose balls, she's rebounding, blocking shots, assists, and she scores. Had an incredible first half. You combine that with the play of Cheyenne Parker, plays only 5 minutes in the first half. What does she do in the second half? Finishes with a triple-double. And that's the first triple-double in Middle Tennessee history, only the 9th in Conference USA. This team's got it all. They are really on a roll right now.
Cheyenne Parker, the National Player of the Week last week. Really impressive things going on for Rick Insell's team. And speaking of another impressive team, Western Kentucky, best record in Conference USA, 18-4. Their first year in the league. I think they're adjusting pretty well.
I think they have too, because they came in with no fear. And I remember talking to the coaching staff and some of the players when they were here for the Conference USA Media Day. This team had no fear coming in. They have a great, rich tradition. They're an outstanding addition to Conference USA, and I think it's going to be a fun tournament again at the championship in Birmingham. Watch Western Kentucky, but Middle Tennessee is on a roll right now.
Middle and Western, both 15-3 in conference combined. One team has beaten both of them, though, responsible for both of those losses, Southern Miss. This is a team that has also been equally as impressive, but maybe not as flashy as Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. What's been the key to Southern Miss's success so far?
Joy Lee McNellis, the head coach. I mean, this lady just flat out coaches. Her teams play hard. If you ever want to see a great practice, go to their practices, because she demands a lot from them, especially on the defensive end. She came in, was kind of the dark horse. Nobody knew what they were going to have this season, but Joy Lee McNellis is just flat out coaching incredibly this year, and I think the players have bought into it, and I wouldn't count them out either.
And you also can't forget the play of Louisiana Tech right now, second in conference play in points per game. Are you surprised at all at how well Tyler Summitt's first year has gone so far?
No, pretty good pedigree there when your mom is Pat Summitt, legendary Hall of Fame coach from Tennessee. But you look at their 3 losses this year. There are 3 losses to the top 3 teams in the conference, but they are playing with a lot of confidence. I think Tyler's system, and it took a while to adjust. Anytime a new coach comes in, he's got new drills, he's got new offense, new defense. This team's starting to adjust right now, and I think they're going to be a factor too. But I really like the job he's done.
And we can't forget about Old Dominion's Jennie Sims. She went off for 45 points last week, tied for the top scoring performance in the NCAA. Just lots of impressive performances all across the league so far this year.
I tell you, look at the individual players. We mentioned Olivia Jones. We mentioned Cheyenne Parker. ODU's got a player. There are some outstanding players. And if you want to see good basketball, come to the conference championship in Birmingham, because all these young ladies are going to be performing in that tournament.
Now moving on to the standings, Middle Tennessee and WKU 1-2 as of right now. Southern Miss, Old Dominion, Louisiana Tech, all at the 3 spot in a logjam, 6-3 in conference play. If you had to pick one team as a dark horse potentially at this point of the season, who are you looking at?
I would probably say ODU. I would probably think that they are the ones. They've got great tradition, obviously, with all the history they have with Nancy Lieberman and Ann Donovan and all those players. I think they may be a little bit of a dark horse, but right now the leaders of the pack, Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee, they're going to be very difficult to beat.
Well, a huge matchup on Thursday as Middle Tennessee travels to Southern Miss looking for a little revenge. And Saturday, the Blue Raiders take on a tough Louisiana Tech team. What other matchups potentially stand out to you, Ron?
Well, once again, Middle Tennessee's got to play back-to-back road games, which is tough. But I talked to Rick Insell, the head coach of Middle Tennessee, this past weekend. I said, gee, you get to go to Southern Miss, a team that beat you on your home floor. It's got to be, as you mentioned, revenge. And he looked at me and says, this isn't about revenge. He said it's about playing well. We didn't play well that game. We didn't come ready to play in that contest. I think he's going to be pumped up for that game. But then you have to go to Louisiana Tech. Always a difficult place to play, but Rick Insell relishes the challenge, because look at even his non-conference schedule. Rick's philosophy, I'll play anywhere, anytime, anybody, and I think his team's going to be ready when they go to Louisiana Tech.
Taking a look at the following week's schedule now, any potential games to keep your eye on, maybe an upset in there?
Well, I want to talk about Marshall at Western Kentucky on Valentine's Day on Saturday the 14th, because Matt Daniel has done an incredible job at Marshall. They've already won more games than they did all of last season, and they're doing it with teamwork. It's taken Matt a couple of years to get his own players in there, understand the system. He is a great motivational guy. You go in their locker room, there's motivational speaking quotes up there. Matt's written some books on it. He's got his team believing in themselves, and I think they're not going to be intimidated by Western Kentucky.